With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is Rants and Raves with Gary K.
Hey everyone, this is Gary K, and we're counting down to InfoComm, and we're doing a series of video casts for Avixa, talking about some of the things that they're doing in and around InfoComm that might not be obvious to you that are worth checking out. Everyone's going to go to InfoComm, Pete, because of the show, but a lot of people skip some of the educational sessions, which is some of the best part of the show itself. So I've asked Pete Coleman, Chief Technology Officer, PTS Consultant, to come on and talk about his session specifically, because it's a session that everyone should be interested in because it's all about emerging trends. So Pete, welcome to the show, and talk a little bit about your session.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. It's great to see you again. And we're not too many more sleeps now for InfoComm. So we're really excited to get to the show again this year. And like you said, I've been fortunate enough to being asked to host the Emerging Trends track at this year's InfoComm. It's going to be hosted on Tuesday, June 13th, starting at 8:30 a.m. I know that's maybe an early start for some, but look, we're certainly going to have a lot of fun talking about all the latest technology, and not just the latest technology, but like, where is the technology headed? What kind of technology are we going to be talking about? Well, things like virtual reality, augmented reality, and we're even going to get into things like NDI, Dante AV and things like that. So it's a series of fireside chats. It's not presentations at all. I'm going to be asking all the tough questions. I'm going to be pushing all these people who are going to be joining me on the stage to try and get some answers, and maybe some answers that they don't really, or some secrets that they don't really want to give away.
Well, you have a good group of panelists. At a very minimum, you're going to have Linda Gedmier, who's a lead consultant with Alpha, a lead expert, I should say, with Alpha Tech. Paul Harris, everyone knows him from Aurora Multimedia. Paul Richards from PTZ Optics. I'll be interested to see what you think his role is in emerging technologies. Oliver Van Camp and with Barco and all the stuff they're doing is all of it. In fact, your home country, they're doing an amazing job with Sydney. Was it called Sydney Live? I forget the projection mapping thing. And then Bill Waters with Audinate. Go ahead, Pete. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's called Vivid. It's actually on at the moment, and it's anyone who's curious, look it up. Vivid Sydney, and they do a lot of projection mapping all over the city. It's really
amazing.
Good.
It's amazing, and it's 80% Barco, and they do a phenomenal job. But obviously, all these people have some part to play. I guess PTZ Optics, because they're the imaging company, right? I mean, they're doing a lot of stuff in and around that.
Actually, no. The reason why I invited Paul Richards, he does work for PTZ Optics, but he actually wrote this book, which is called The Unofficial Guide to NDI. And so he knows NDI better than most. And I wanted him to come on the panel. And we're going to do a comparison, maybe kind of like a bit of a shootout between NDI and Dante AV, talk about the differences, the pros, the cons, all that kind of stuff.
That'll be good. That'll be excellent. And he does know both Dante actually and NDI.
He does
really well. And of course, NDI, for those that don't know, is an AV over IP protocol for sending content H.264 to survive, and even potentially in higher bandwidth applications too. And I think that'll be something that you'll talk about. And I'm sure you'll address AV over IP. You'll address, I think AR and VR are interesting in our market, but our market won't really drive that. Obviously, the consumer market will. But I think, some of the areas that it seems like we should be talking about, obviously AV over IP, AV as a service, hardware as a service, things like that.
But I think where virtual reality comes into play and augmented reality is, there's companies like Modus VR, for example, where they're using virtual reality as a design tool in the audio-visual space, which I think is fantastic.
To visualize what something's going to look like. Yeah.
100%. So we're going to get in a bit of that. But also, like virtual meetings and things, like where is that going in the workplace? And Linda knows a lot about virtual reality. She feels very strongly about it. So, we'll get into all the nitty gritty there, and we'll challenge her on whether we think it's actually going to be a realistic option for a lot of organizations.
I mean, a lot of people are going back to showing like telepresence options now because we now have the technology to do it. Logitech will have that in their booth and some others as well. But of course, XR sets, the technology using XR sets in Hollywood, that came out of partially came out of our industry. So I'm sure you'll talk about that as well, because that can be used in corporate and live events applications, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
And actually someone that you didn't mention that that's joining us is Christopher Janes. So Christopher Janes, formerly of Mersive, now with QSC. I love this guy. He has a wealth of knowledge and experience in collaboration, especially wireless connectivity and collaboration. So he's going to be joining us on stage with Barco. And so I'm sure we're going to have some great conversations, and he's going to give us some great insights and share his knowledge with us.
Yeah, and he's also a scientist, so he did a lot of research on this, not just talking about it. So he's actually got a lot of data, and it'll be interesting to have him and Barco on the stage at the same time, because they were big time competitors. He kind of created a product that competed with the ClickShare with Mersive, and he's no longer at Mersive, as you said, but I'm sure he still has a passion for that space,
and that's why I want them both on the stage at the same time, right? Because they can really, they, like you said, they were competitors for a long period of time. And I know Barco, we've been working very closely with Barco. They've got a very exciting roadmap. I hope they're going to talk about it. I've seen glimpses of what that roadmap is. And I just hope they're going to share some of those new technologies that they're looking at deploying in the future.
And that's the emerging technologies sessions, which is 8:30 a.m. to noon on Tuesday the 13th. Wherever you're watching this, just click on that link. You can register for it now. There's plenty of space available in it, but go ahead and register, because it will fill up sometime next week. And Pete, I really appreciate you joining me today on this session.
It's my pleasure, Gary. And I hope to see you at InfoComm. I'm sure we'll catch up.
We will definitely catch up, because this is what the whole point of a show like this is about networking with friends and seeing people you haven't seen in a while. And of course, all of our coverage for InfoComm is at ravepubs.com/InfoComm. Check it out now. And of course, if you want to get involved with the Avixa and you want to teach in the future, go to avixa.org. Everyone, the InfoComm show is at infocommshow.org. Pete, thank you very much. Everyone, have a great day.
Thank you.
With